Good morning to all. Myself Dr. TV Nagaraju. I am working as an associate professor in Department of IT, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In the last session, we discussed what is an exception, what is the hierarchy of exception and exception handling mechanism. Now in this session, we will move to how do we handle the exception, what are the keywords that are required for handling the exception. So, exception handling means the process of handling the exception. For that, we are using try, catch, finally, throw and throws. These are the 5 keywords that occurred in handling the exception. Now, first we will move to try and catch. Okay, first one is a try block. What is a try block? Suppose you are writing some program. Within that program, if some part of the code may generate exception, not 100%, the code that may generate an exception, that is called suspicious code. Generally, such a type of suspicious code is written inside the try block. Okay, now try block will hold the statements which are going to raise the exception. But remember the thing, if we are placing in the try block means compulsory they need to raise the exception. There is a chance for raising the exception. Such statements are written inside the try block. So, try is the keyword, opening bracket. Here, you are writing some set of statements that may generate exception and close. This is the syntax of writing a try block. Now, what happened? Remember, within the try block, whenever an exception is generated, it returns an object of the type of exception. Which type of exception is generated? For that type class, an exception object is generated and that object is thrown to the catch block. Now these two form a pair. Remember, inside the try block, you are not handling the exception. Inside the try block, you are writing the statements that may generate exception. Suppose, if an exception is generated, an object is thrown. The object is created suitable for the particular class and the object is thrown to the catch block. Now, what is the purpose of catch block? The purpose of catch block is it need to handle the exception. See this one? That is my next point. Catch block. What the catch block? Will hold the object reference from the try block. Whatever that is thrown by the catch block, try block, that is catched by this one and print the required message. Whatever the message you want, that particular message is printed. See this one, the type of exception and OB. The type of exception and OB. Right now you understand what is a try block and what is a catch block. Now, here I will discuss 2 programs. The first one is what happened if you are not using any try catch block in your program. After that, if you are adding try and catch block to your program, what happened? Okay. Now, first one is what is the problem without handling of exception. Now, I will show you. Write down one program. The program is class, for example, demo exception 1. This is my class name. Within this class, simple program, public static void main string args. Now read two variables, for example int a. Instead of that, use scanner. Some sc is equal to new scanner of system.in. Now int a is equal to sc dot next to int of. So here I am reading value of a. Similarly, int b is equal to sc dot next to int of. Read the value of b. Finally, int c is equal to, here I am doing some operation a by b. So just one division operation, and print system dot out dot println c is equal to plus c. Just I am printing the value of c. Okay, and continue with the remaining program. So this is some part of the program. System dot out dot println. Here I written some message, for example rest of the code. Like this, some set of statements are available. Close the main method, close this class. Close the main method and close the class. What is the first one? You need to import java.util.star. Now observe this program. This is a simple program which consists of two variables a and b. I perform division operation. After completion of division operation, I am printing the value, and then some other set of statements in my program. Now save this program. Dot java. Now cmd java c space my program name dot java. There is no errors. Java space program name. First you need to enter a value. I given a is equal to 10 and b value. B is equal to 10. Perfect. C is equal to 10 by 2. C is equal to 5 is printed, and then rest of the code is printed. Now my program does not consist of any type of exception. Now I execute the program one more time. A value is equal to 10. I given b is equal to 0. 10 by 0 means exception. See this one? Here what happened? Whenever there is an exception in the program, an abnormal termination occurred. Abnormal termination means suddenly we are coming out of the program. It does not print the rest of the program. See this one? Exception in thread main java.lang.arithmetic exception divided by 0, just to print the message and coming out. Suppose this is a simple program. If you are doing a large project, in that if an exception occurred, blindly we are coming out of the program. Okay, that is the problem. Now what is your aim? You need to handling in the sense, even though there is an exception in the program, you need to display one message. This is the exception, and then continue with the remaining program. You got the point? Handling the exception in the sense, instead of abnormal termination, just to handle and then continue with the remaining part of the program. That is the procedure. Now I will show you that one. Same program. How do I handle the exception? The statement that may generate exception is written inside the try block. So here generally this statement may generate exception in most of the scenario. How I written? Understand my changes try, open the bracket and then close. Observe, C is equal to A by B is performed if there is no problem and print the value of C. A try block is immediately followed by a catch block. A try block is immediately followed by catch block. Within the catch block, you need to write the type of exception. Arithmetic exception, some object E, here system dot out dot println E. Understand all the cases. What are the different cases here? Observe. First here C is equal to A by B is performed. Assume my A value is equal to 10 and my B value is equal to 2. What happened? C is equal to 10 by 2, that is C value is equal to 5. What is the next statement? This one. It prints the value of C, then there is no problem. In that situation, the catch block is not executed. The catch block is not executed. We are continue with the remaining part of the program. What is the first case? Even though you are writing try block, if there is no exception inside the try block, the catch block is not executed. Clear? Now, I will show you the example. Assume 10 by 0. Assume 10 by 0. So, C is equal to 10 by 0. Whenever this case happened, immediately it raised an exception. Remember, whenever an exception is generated, immediately that exception is thrown to the catch block. Even this statement is also not executed. You got the point? Suppose within the try block I have 10 statements. Suppose an exception is generated at third statement. Immediately we are moving to the catch block. Remaining statements are not executed inside the try block. Clear? So, moving to the arithmetic exception and then print the message. First, I will explain this basic scenario. We'll explain this basic scenario. See what happened. First to see this one, A value is equal to 10, B value is equal to 2. There is no exception. In that case, C is equal to 10 by 2 performed and then print the value of C. Catch block is not executed. Directly we are moving after the catch block. Observe the output. C is equal to 5 is printed and then rest of the code is printed. Clear? Again I will repeat. If there is no exception in the try block, catch block is not executed. Now, execute the program. A value 10, B value 0. Whenever there is an exception in the try block, immediately the exception object is thrown to the catch block. The exception object is thrown to the catch block. See this one. Observe the previous one. In the previous case, an abnormal termination, here observe, an abnormal termination occurred. But in this case, what happened? Here the exception is generated. Immediately we are moving to the catch block. This is the default message available in the catch block and continue with the remaining. And not an abnormal termination. Continue with the remaining part of the program. Now you understand why you are using try and catch block? To reduce the burden of abnormal termination. Not at all completed. Here one more point is there. Sir, up to now you said an exception object is generated that is thrown to the catch block. Right? For example, array index out of bounds exception. This is also one type of exception. Like arithmetic exception, this is also one type of exception. Now observe. Here C is equal to 10 by 0. Assume C is equal to 10 by 0. What happened? An exception object is generated that is thrown to the catch block. But here observe, what is the type of exception it handle? It handle the exceptions that are related to arrays only. Here what it generates? It generates an exception object related to the class arithmetic exception. But this catch block handle arrays. So what happened? Even here an exception is generated. There is no suitable catch block for handling. You got it? In your program, if you return try and catch in the sense, exception handling is not done. Exactly whatever the type of object that is thrown in the try block, exactly the same is available in the catch block. If matching is there, then only handling is occurred. Here it thrown an object related to arithmetic, but here an object of array. See this one. In this case also, even though try and catch block is there, it does not handle. An abnormal termination occurred. Execute. Enter the value of a 0. See, an abnormal termination occurred. Why? The corresponding catch block is not available. Clear the point? This is my first point. Try catch block. Generally, the statements that may generate exception are written inside the try block. Catch block is used for handling the exception. If there is no exception in your program, catch is not executed. If an exception is generated in your program, immediately, that is the remaining part of try block is also not executed. Immediately, exception object is thrown to the corresponding catch block. If corresponding catch is not available means, again there is a problem. Abnormal termination. Okay. Now you understand what is the problem without handling the exception. What is the problem? Abnormal termination. And how do I handle the problem? By using try and catch. Now my next question is, sir, in your program, only one exception is generated? No. A program can generate any number of exceptions. Then what you do? For example, my program consists of, suppose, may generate arithmetic exception, it may generate array index out of bounds exception, it may generate null pointer exception. Then you return only one catch block. How that catch block handles all type of exception? For that, the next point is try with multiple catch blocks. Try with multiple catch blocks. What is the meaning? All the suspicious code is written in one try block, that is followed by multiple catch blocks. Now, if an exception is generated, now first catch block is checked. If both are same, it will handle. If both are not same, second catch block. If same, completed, or third catch block. You got the point? For a single program, you can write multiple catch blocks. See, how do I write this program? Suppose int c is equal to a by b. This is 1. Now, int ARR of some 3. ARR of some 3 is equal to 1, 2, 3. Here I given 3 elements. Here I given 3 elements. System dot out dot println ARR of 4. Suppose if you want, you can write string some s is equal to an empty string. S is equal to an empty string, or else string S is equal to some null. That is, you are not assigning anything. System dot out dot println length of a string. Here I am calculating length of a string. Now you got it. Observe, in this my try block, I written 3 chances of exception. It may generate arithmetic exception. It may generate array index out of bounds exception. It may generate a null pointer exception. Null pointer means a string does not point to anything, but you are trying to do operation. See this one. How do you write that one? Catch arithmetic exception. Catch null pointer exception. Now observe all the cases. How it happened? For example, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 0, 10 by 0. What it generates? It generates an arithmetic exception object. Immediately it throws arithmetic exception object. So the remaining code is not executed. You already know the remaining code is not executed. Whenever it throws arithmetic exception, first it checks the first catch block. Okay, this is related to array. It is not suitable for my exception. Now second, it generates arithmetic. Yes, this catch block is suitable for my exception. This catch block is executed and then continue with the remaining part of the program. That means only one exception is generated inside the try block. Only one catch block is executed. Suppose if A is equal to 10, B is equal to 2. There is no problem in this statement. Now C value is printed successfully. Now I create an array with 3 elements, but I want to print the element at 4th position. Is it possible? No. Immediately it gives an error, exception, array index out of bounds exception. This will handle. Suppose here you are given 1. There is no problem. For this, if there is an error, that corresponding is executed. Now you got it. Only one exception is generated. One catch block is executed. Int AR of 3 is equal to right now remove this one. First I will explain. I will change that one later. Java space. Oh. Now first you need to enter A value as 10, B value 2. Now observe what happened. 10 by 2, that is 5, that is successful, but it generates null pointer exception. It generates null pointer exception. In my program, I have the catch block. In my program, I have the catch block that handle null pointer exception. This is executed and then rest of the code. Now you got it. And the last point is, suppose if you, I already said in what order? First catch block, second catch block, third catch block, in top to down order the search operation is performed. Finally, if I don't know which type of exception is generated in my program, if you don't know the specific type of exception, in that case, at last, you can use the super class. What is exception? In the decision making also you are writing first if, else if, else if, else if. In all the cases are failed, directly you are writing else. So first it checks array index, not suitable, arithmetic, not suitable, exception. It will handle any type. It will handle any type. Now see this program. 10, 2, See, even though you are not written null pointer, but null pointer exception is generated. You got it? If you don't know the specific name, at last you can write exception. So, this is the concept. What you discussed, how do you write a try block and catch block? What happened if you are not using the concept of exception handling? How do we overcome the problem by using try and catch block? And for a single try block, how do we attach multiple catch blocks? In the next session, we will move to finally block. Okay, that's the end of today's session. Thank you.